Hey guys, welcome back to another episode, and today I have the great big task of showing you a garden, and how to make one. So, first things first, you gotta learn the blocks that you're gonna be using, there's a lot of them. Gardening is very versatile, you can come up with lots of different things. One of these is separate grass, right? This is a bunch of different grass. It blends in with grass, usually, most of them. Blend in pretty well with the grass, especially this one right here. Unless it's in like a frozen biome or a desert biome or whatever. Mostly these grasses do blend in with normal grass, and then we have coarse dirt, because if you place dirt, sometimes you'll want to place it. I just kind of like to make something have more dirt, then it will get grown over by the grass, so that's why you gotta use coarse dirt. Now, if you're in an area that doesn't have any grass around it, then coarse dirt and dirt mixed together looks much better than just dirt or just coarse dirt. But if you have a bunch of grass around you, then coarse dirt works the best. So, you can also, use sand, and these guys right here are great. They're very, very similar. You don't get many blocks like that in Minecraft. Because, Mojang doesn't want to really create a bunch of similar textures, but they have. They've made these three, and usually if you find some similar textures, they're gray, because there's just so many gray blocks in Minecraft, versus other blocks, there's just not very many of, If you want, like an orange block, there's like three, there's red sand, I guess is a little bit orange, orange wool, smooth red sandstone, and pumpkins, and orange concrete, That's not much. Versus gray, look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, like on the first page, So there's just a lot more gray in Minecraft, And the next thing is slabs, because, smooth transitions. Slabs makes transitions much more smooth. Like right here, look at that. You don't even have to jump, Right here you have to jump. And it takes you out of the garden-y feel, It's not as peaceful. Gardens are meant to be peaceful, And then sand, right? Sandstone looks almost exactly like sand. Like if I zoom out, you can barely tell which part is sandstone and sand, And that is not the case with dirt, because they have or grass, because they have no green slabs. But jungle slabs look a lot like dirt. And so does spruce slab sometimes. And, there's a lot of different slab variants that you can do. I like jungle the most for dirt color. But they don't have any green slabs. They should totally add, like, concrete slabs. That would be great. Okay, so the next block that you're going to be working with is the leaf block, of course, right? Now, I have my my graphics on fancy. Go to video settings, and then here they are. You can go fast, and then you can't see through the leaves, they still count as transparent blocks. You just can't see through them. And I like them to be see-through. I don't know about the other versions. I think on most of them, like Pocket Edition and stuff, they're see-through, but I don't know. Maybe there is a graphic setting for that. But there's 4 major different types. You have oak, acacia, and dark oak, which actually look like exactly the same. So they're just really one group. Then you have birch leaves, pretty they're pretty similar. They just have a slightly different tone. And then spruce and jungle. Jungle looks the most different. Spruce is a little bit different texture, I think. It's more like it looks like a pine tree needle stuff, And yeah, so there's leaves right there. You also have, of course, the good old flowers, and nobody ever uses flower pots. It's kind of sad. They're just kind of forgotten, So use some flower pots in your garden, And then these other forgotten blocks over here are these guys. They don't blend in with anything except for each other. They have a unique texture. You should totally use them, mostly for like a statue or something like that, And then, item frames. Nobody uses item frames in gardens, and I mean you can use them for like a chair arm or something. If you want to make a bulletin board like this, Nobody uses signs. Nobody uses paintings. You know, I mean, maybe that's the reason for that. But anyway, another nice little thing you can do is add a bit more lighting. I think my last video had some lighting in it, so or was about lighting. So go check that out or something. So you know, make some lanterns. Make this. You can also, if you have some green carpet, you can put a light source underneath it, like so. Whoops. Okay, well, like that, and it just looks like green carpet. It still gives off light though. And if you have your graphics where these are not see-through, then you can put stuff underneath, and you won't be able to see it. But it's still transparent, so the light will still go through it. And then you have these guys, right? Fences, fence gates, and trap doors. Pretty similar, or pretty basic, you know. Use them all over the place, and yeah, they're nice. So next, you know, time to talk about some actual garden styles. So, here's more of a like rich person, you know, in England or something. You know, I don't know, but here's like a fancy manor or something, and there's some statues. And then this is a nice little trick you can do. You can take green and lime terracotta, or really any of these guys, over here, and you can make sort of stripes. It looks like a very manicured lawn, you know, well taken care of. Looks like soccer, you know. If you've ever watched soccer, they have like lines on the floor. Anyway, then there's this sort of garden. It's a little bit different. I guess, I don't know. There's a whole lot of garden types. These are just the two that I've used mostly in this video. Anyway, so it has pathways, you know. It just kind of goes around everywhere. Here's some bridges over a river. You know, rivers are a great feature. This is supposed to be a statue, I guess. You know. Anyway, this is just basically a mini version. These two mini versions of a garden. So you know, you walk through here, and height matters. Okay, this feels different than up here. It's because you're like lower down and everything. So add some height variation into your garden. It'll look a lot better. Add trees, add stuff, you know. And then here's just a really bad tiny greenhouse, you know. Anyway, so now that you know that, it's time to move on to the paths, right? So we have right here coarse dirt, brown concrete powder, and grass path, or path blocks, or whatever. So basically what I've tried to do here is I've spotted around the brown concrete powder because it has a similar texture to to this, but it contrasts it a little bit. And yeah, like look at this texture. It's almost a retexture complete, you know, just a different color. You know what I mean? Anyway, and then I have this coarse dirt, which is more in a sort of pattern. It's kind of like there's two of these guys. They look nice in it. And then this path up here, I have even more of a pattern. If you follow this andesite, you can see that at the diagonals it will connect with other andesite. There's actually andesite under there. It'll connect with other andesite and make sort of cracks and everything. It goes down the whole path, and then I have filled in the gaps with cobblestone and dotted a bit of gravel about, and also put buttons on the ground and pressure plates because they look like rocks and they give the path a little bit more depth. It's always a good thing to do. So now you got the paths done, you know. There's a lot of different paths you could do. You could have a wooden path, you could have a grass path, or like a, you know, any sort of path. You could have just any path, really. Doesn't matter. These are my two favorites that I use most of the time. And now, on to these height differences. You know, I talked about height differences a minute ago, right? Pretty simple, just vary the height in your builds, and it gives off a lot more detail and immersiveness, you know. And also making this sort of gradual slope upwards, which I've done with these flowers. You see I put the flowers in the front, and then the short flowers in the front, the tall flowers in the back, you know. And I've done this over here with these leaves as well. And with these grass, I just kind of scattered around randomly. But if you want some sort of overgrown path, this stuff is great to just walk through, you know, because it just immerses you also. Now we're gonna talk about transitions. So this is no good, right? Don't do this because it doesn't look super good. Looks like a normal Minecraft landscape. Now this is a little bit better. You do have to mix in some dirt. And I talked about this in a video where I terraformed a while ago. Anyway, basically, this stuff looks like dirt. So you mix it in with dirt, and it makes a much smoother transition up the side of the thing. Or you could use this right here. This technique works too. It's basically just grass. It's a full block of grass, looks like it, but it's actually just green concrete powder. Here's another cool little technique, you know. I talked about this a minute ago. Putting these in here, it doesn't look too bad, but if you have graphics off of fancy, or whatever you have for your device, it can look better. Anyway, so now we're moving on to the water features, you know. Lakes are great. Put some sea pickles in them to light them up, and they will look nice, okay? Ponds are very overlooked in the general garden area. People don't put ponds in. It's very nice to use these new waterlogged blocks in ponds. So try it out, you know, add some ponds. They will very much improve your build. And if you have some sort of a river, you can make bridges over it. You can make big bridge, or you can make a tiny bridge, you know, it doesn't really matter. But they just kind of add to everything. And also, fountains are great as well, especially in modern builds and everything. They work very well. So, yeah, you also may have some sort of area, if you have some sort of like central parky sort of thing, where you want chairs. So, you know, here's some basic chair designs. Here's some wooden chairs, and here's some of these guys. Now for this, look, right down here, a redstone torch powering this block. So if I break this block, that thing goes up. Anyway, the redstone torch is powering this block, which powers this guy, okay? Pretty simple. Anyway, also onto this area, we have some snow. So the cool thing about snow is you can make some sort of park bench like this, you know? And you can make it really tall, you can make it really short. You don't have that variation with stairs or anything, you know? These trapdoor chairs are super short off the ground, you know? Another good central things is statues, you know? They're great. I built this one, or something like it, with the new 1.14 blocks in one of my first videos. You know, I have a video on statues, you know, with that. This is some sort of like rhinoceros thingy, and it's a leaf, whatever they're called. This is some sort of like horse with wings, I don't know. But yeah, these are like leaf artwork, you know, if you've ever seen some of that. And then on to trees. Here's a little bush, here's a bigger bush, here's a larger bush. Also made a few tree videos in my time, so go check those out. Oak tree looks really good in most of this sort of style that I'm showing you right here. These look nice too. Palm trees, not as much, but anyway, now onto these sort of gateway things. This is the last tip, I guess. So I use these blocks. It's like 8 blocks or something. Work really well for several different gateway designs, like this one, that one, this one, or this one, and cover it with vines, you know, it doesn't really matter. And have them droop down, you know, sometimes in the way of people. It really just brings them into the immersion, you know. And this works too, you know, having these guys. Right here, I do have to put these in, just so that these guys have something to sit on, you know. And yeah, so that right there is the end of this garden video. So, you know, I hope you learned something. I hope you can use it to your advantage the next time you want to make some sort of garden. Very nice gardens. So I will see you next time. That's a lot of sugarcane. It was up to the block limit.